Now that we're coming to the end of the year, and I wanted to look back at all the games I bought this year, and I guess I wanted to do something that I don't think a lot of people really talk about, and I want to say good things about Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. And I'm someone who's not subscribed to Xbox Game Pass. I don't own an Xbox. I don't really play PC like that, so I have no reason to get Game Pass. But as I look back at this year and all the games I played a lot of games that are on Xbox Game Pass day and date or eventually came later on. So it made me start thinking, man, am I missing out if I don't have Game Pass? I mean, I'm buying a lot of these games. Did I really need to buy them if at Game Pass, I mean, I could have had them offer free plus a whole bunch of other games and backlogs of games, etc. So in this video, I kind of just want to go over Game Pass, my opinions on whether or not I regret not getting Game Pass this year, and whether I might get Game Pass sometime in the future. If you guys like this video, do me a favor and like this type of video. Please consider subscribing as it does help us out tons. Without wasting any more time, let's get into this video of whether or not I regret getting Game Pass or not getting Game Pass, whatever. All right. Anyways, so this really came out because I just beat Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, and it's an amazing game. I had a blast playing it. But then it made me start to think, wow, this game was on Game Pass. This was a shorter Like a Dragon game, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. And I think it's worth the money. With that being said, I started to think back on all the games I played this year: Wulong Fallen Dynasty, Like a Dragon Ishin, Liza P, Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. Um, all these games are on Game Pass. That's four titles right there that I would have had just from subscribing to Game Pass. Not to mention some of the games that I might have been interested in, but I didn't really get to check out because I don't really have Xbox. Things like a Hi-Fi Rush that I definitely would have 100% played because that's definitely a game that's my style of game. But I don't have Xbox. I don't have Game Pass. Um, so it made me start to count my monies up together, right? Like Liza P, that's what, almost $70, $60, I think it was. Like a Dragon Ishin, I think it was like $50. Like a Dragon Gaiden, I believe was $50. As well as Wulong Fallen Dynasty, I believe I picked it up on PlayStation 4 for $60. Um, all of that would have definitely covered the cost to get Game Pass. Again, not to mention I would have been able to play games like Starfield, games that I not necessarily too interested in, but I definitely would have checked them out had I had Game Pass. And I think this is a conversation not a lot of people are having because I think as gamers, a lot of us are just used to buying the games that we want to play. And if you ever get time, you kind of just go back to your backlog, right? We understand that there's a backlog and we kind of push a lot of games back there and stuff like that. Um, so I think the idea of a subscription service is still weird on us. It's still lost on a lot of us gamers because we understand gaming's expensive. I don't think a whole lot of people are really trying to game the cheapest way. I think when you think of like, PC players or some of these other people that buy all these accessories, they buy multiple controllers, their consoles, their PC, whatever you guys buy. I think as gamers, we're trained really not to, I guess, get the best bang for our buck sometimes. And gaming Game Pass has been lauded as the best deal in gaming for so long. And I think when you look at their first party offerings, it's easy to say, no, not really. Because you're not really releasing games to the level of PlayStation, right? You're not releasing any God of Wars anytime soon, any Horizons. You're not releasing any, like, Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo-style game or anything like that. Instead, they're releasing smaller, amazing games like Pentiment Hi-Fi Rush, and then some, like, lackluster mid AAA games like, unfortunately Starfield, depending on who you're talking to. Again, I haven't played the game, so I don't know its quality, but based off the conversation around it, that's kind of the conversation. So again, I think it's easy to look at that offering and say, oh yeah, Game Pass isn't that great. It's not the biggest deal in gaming, whatever. But when you look at some other amazing third-party offerings like Liza P, I think is a very phenomenal Souls game. I actually have a blast playing this game. I don't regret buying it by any means. But had I had the option to just have the subscription service and just have it, I think I definitely would have saved me time and money, and I definitely probably would also been able to play other games, right? Because I would have already had paid for Liza P through the subscription service, I would have been able to pick up maybe some other games that I wanted to pick up that aren't on Game Pass. Um, all in all, I think Game Pass is a good idea. It's a great concept. I think it is doing great things for people who want to gain a lot of access to games, but don't want to spend that much money all the time. With that being said, I always said that I didn't want to get Game Pass because for me, the reason why Game Pass wasn't so attractive is because you don't necessarily get to pick what games go into Game Pass, right? Like Microsoft finds themselves a group of games and they get them in there for you, and then you kind of just play those games. And if there's any other games that you wanted to play, you would just buy those separately. And I guess as someone who's just used to buying my games, I never cared to kind of, I guess, save money on it. I mean, sure, if I could find a deal on a used copy, or if there's a eShop sale or something, definitely I'll pick up something, right? Black Friday's coming up, so again, definitely I'll be buying games on Black Friday. So yeah, I am as frugal as I can be at times, but again, I'm just so used to buying my games and not really regretting them too much. I think out of all the games I bought this year, there's only one game I actually regretted buying it, and I didn't really regret it because I had a lot of coupons and stuff like that that I used up to get it for really cheap. But yeah, getting back to Game Pass, overall, I think games like Lies of P, Wulong Fallen Dynasty, Like a Dragon Gaiden, Like a Dragon Ishin, I'm sure there's tons of other games, like again, like Atomic Hearts is a game that I was kind of interested in it, but I didn't really want to buy it at the time, so I just never, probably won't get to it. Unless I had a Game Pass, then I definitely would at least give it a shot. So overall, do I regret not getting Game Pass? Not really. If I'm being 100% honest, all the games I purchased, I don't regret purchasing them. So, and I think that's the biggest thing that Game Pass misses, is that I think for people like me, who just don't mind buying the games that I want to play and then play them, I don't feel like I'm missing out on Game Pass. Game Pass isn't something that I feel like, oh my god, I'm outright losing money not having it, or it has a demanding title that forces me to get it. And I think that's where Game Pass is still missing, is the fact that I can go the entire day, have picked up multiple games that were day and date on Game Pass, and still for whatever reason not regret that decision. I don't regret buying these games individually, a la carte, versus paying into a subscription service. Because now with my Liza P, with my Wulong Fallen Dynasty, I can show other people, I could share with other people. I know it's always going to be there, like later on. Maybe I don't want to play it again this year or whatever. Maybe 2-3 years later, I do want to replay it. I know it's there for me. So overall, I think that's the problem. I think with Game Pass is the fact that it's not a must-have commodity yet. It's not a Netflix yet. It's not that subscription service that everyone has to have because they have the best product or the most relevant products or the most, products that consume the mind share of the consumers. A lot of these games are fantastic. Liza P, Wulong Fallen Dynasty, Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush. A lot of these games are phenomenal, fantastic games, but none of them, again, force me to have to get Game Pass. I was forced to get a PlayStation 5 because I wanted to play games like Final Fantasy 16. I wanted to play games like Spider-Man 2. And I think that's where PlayStation understands their place, is that they don't necessarily need to make a bunch of games in any given year because they have, titles that are must-haves. I knew for a fact I was getting Final Fantasy 16 day and date. I knew for a fact I was getting Spider-Man 2 on day one. Whether I bought a PlayStation 5 and then also bought them separately and did the most expensive way to get it, yes. But do I regret it? God, no. Because those are fun, exciting titles that, make me feel like I was spending my money properly. Even if, I bought a Liza P and it's day and day on Game Pass, and that would have been cool to just have it with a subscription purchase. But at the same time, it's such a great game, it's such a quality game that I just want to own it. I want to have it. It doesn't make me regret my purchase. And until Xbox can make Game Pass something that people regret not getting, or people have to hop into it, then I think it's going to be an upward climb for them to try to make Game Pass the future of gaming. As far as would I ever get in the future, probably. I do have plans on getting an Xbox sometime probably next year, just because they have some pretty cool and interesting titles coming out. But with Microsoft, you never really know, because sometimes a game looks amazing and then it releases kind of mid or lackluster. So I'm still divvying it up, thinking about it. Overall, those are my thoughts on just Game Pass 2023. No, I don't regret getting it. For those who have it, amazing. Definitely the best deal in gaming still. Again, it's just not a must-have that I need to get it yet. Anyway, guys, those are my final thoughts. Let me know down below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.